Hey everybody, let's do a little mishmash today. Let's do some gratitude, some boundary setting, and let's just have a little chit chat, shall we? Yappy and I are ready, so come on over. Hey friends! How are you today? Happy Friday, Junior. Happy Thankful Thursday. Happy Thriving Thursday. It's beautiful here. The sun is shining outside my window. Yappy and I are here. We've got some galactic something going on in the background. I hope everyone is well. This has been a week of weeks for me. But you know me, I always strive to be above the fray. Always, always. So today, before we get started, let's do what February 27th of our Helen Steiner Rice calendar. Today, face your problems as they arise. Don't anticipate trouble. The majority of worries revolve around problems that never occur. Let that marinate. Let me read it again. Today, face your problems as they arise. Don't anticipate trouble. The majority of worries revolve around problems that never occur. I mean, how many of us, anticipate a problem? And I don't do that because I don't strive in drama or negativity. But it's like, oh my God, this is gonna, and that's not even gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that. Handle it as it arises. Don't anticipate a problem. Think positively. You know what I mean? Always think positive, never in the negative. I am very optimistic. I see the glass is more than half full with plenty of room. It can be flowing over. I see it. I'm not like, there's nothing. Yeah. You can't have that negative all the time. You know what I mean? And especially when we go through so many things and things that are unanticipated, things that happen out of nowhere. Like I have spoken to two different people this week in regards to the situation with my daughter's father passing. One was my aunt, who proceeded to tell me that her ex, almost son-in-law, passed away 2 years ago. I'm like, you never told me that. And she's like, oh yeah, I thought I told you. I'm like, no, you didn't. So my nephew lost his dad. And I forgot to tell Zoe that last night. So I've got to tell Zoe that, like, you're not the only one. And then one of my bestest, dearest friends from St. Croix, we used to work together. I love her to pieces. And out of my St. Croix friends that were on island at the time, she was the first one to have a little baby. And he was the cutest little thing. And he's now a 30-year-old grown man with his own children. And so the picture always floats through my phone of me and this little baby who's now 30, and my little nickname for him, And I'm like, well, I can't call him that anymore. He's a grown man. And he doesn't remember me or anything. He was a baby, But she proceeded to tell me, too, that the father of her 3 children passed away a couple of years ago, too. I'm like, what is going on with the men? Not taking care of themselves, not going to the doctor with things that could have been prevented. And these are young men. These are men who are in their 50s, or possibly even 40s, I think, one. You know what I mean? So what is going on? Just strange. But this quote, just is like, don't anticipate a problem. Handle it as it arises. But by all means, if you are feeling sick, you can't breathe, and things are going on, you need to handle that immediately. You need to see somebody's doctor. you need to go to the urgent care, to the ER or something. Don't just sit around and then, you know, somebody's finding you in your sleep and you have left this earth. You need to handle that. These things are preventable. Preventable. It's not like we're living in the dark ages where we had to wait for the doctor to come to us and there was nothing they could do and all that. We have modern medicine. And these things that people are dropping dead from are not even, they're not serious things. They're things that could have been prevented. So please, people, take preventive measures when you get sick. You know, don't sit around and let your loved ones have to deal with the aftermath. You know, it's not good. So, back to business here. I figured today we could do some Rupi Kaur's writing prompts for gratitude. You know, let's do some prompts for gratitude. I'm filming today on my old iPhone 11 that went back to the factory settings. And I'm filming on it today to see how it comes out. It doesn't have cinematic and all the new bells and whistles that my new 16 Pro Max camera has. But I love the look of it. It's very crystal clear. Like I feel like I'm looking into a 4K something. You know, it's not filmed in 4K. So we're going to see. I don't think I changed any of that in here. So we're going to see how this works. We're going to see. It's just a trial run. You know, I'm just doing a little trial run. And if it doesn't work, then we'll switch it out. But I want to see how it's going to do. I forgot that I needed to change the settings to the 4K settings. So, you know, we'll see. We will see what happens. I don't think I can change it after the fact. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not starting over. So, you know, we'll see. So one of the first things I wanted to do before we get into the gratitude prompts is I have this book. I love self-help books and I love autobiographies. Those are my favorite books. And I got the Share book, part 1 of her story, and I'm getting ready to start reading that. My daughter bought that for me for Christmas. But I have here from Melissa Urban, who is the co-founder of the Whole30 Diet, and it's the Book of Boundaries. Set the limits that will set you free. And I wanted to read just a couple of excerpts from this book. This is an excellent book. And especially if you have, you know, trouble setting boundaries, you know what I mean? You want to end the resentments with people, the burnout, the anxiety, you know what I mean? You want to reclaim your time, you know, as she says, and your energy, your health, your relationships. You don't want to deal with all the, you know, boundaries. You want to set boundaries, but healthy boundaries that are not going to, you know, and if people don't understand your boundaries, then those are not your people. You know, that's how I feel about that. You know what I mean? But a couple of the things that she said, and this is right in the introduction of the book, and it says, in business, she says, if there's a boundary, something that she needs to deal with, she says this: thank you for thinking of me. This project doesn't feel like a good fit, so I'm going to pass. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I think in life so much, we practice too much on being yes people and not saying what we mean and not saying no when we mean no. When I turned 50, I decided that I was going to say no, because I was always the one who, every time there was a family gathering or something, oh yeah, Lex is going to come and she's going to bring rice and she's going to do this and she's going to do that. And no, I'm not. You know, I don't want to come to your house on Christmas. My daughter is little and wants to stay playing with her stuff under her Christmas tree too. Why do we have to go to your house so your kids don't have to go anywhere? But I have a child too. You know, and certain boundaries, you know, you just need to set them. And if those people don't care for it, family included, blood relatives included, then you know what? Too bad. Too bad, so sad. You know, then they just won't. You know, and those people are the kind of people that are never going to get it. So no matter what kind of boundary you set, they are never going to get it. And they're going to be the kind of people that, oh, I thought you were kidding. Or, oh, yeah, I don't have time for that. As the saying goes, ain't nobody got time for that. So let's do the next one. She says, with her parents, I know you're trying to help, but it's my job to make the rules for my child. I'll let you know if I want your input. That boundary was a boundary that I had to have with my mom, because when my daughter was born, it kind of like triggered something in my mom's mind to where I was born. So everything was like pretty much, it was like me being born all over again for her. And I'm like, you do know that this is your granddaughter. I am your daughter. 2 separate times. You know, these were 33 years apart. You know, you can't, there's no takey backsies. You know what I mean? You can't go back and rewrite history. I'm a grown woman now. You know what I mean? But see, she never got to bring me home from the hospital because I was a 3-pound preemie. And she was in the hospital for almost 3 weeks. And then she left the hospital and I was there for another month. So, you know, she didn't have that bringing the baby home the first time from the hospital and all of that. So I, you know, now that I think about it, you know, I know that's probably, you know, those feelings were all welled up inside of her, you know, but even when I would tell my daughter, you know, where I would either reprimand or chastise her or say, you know, that's not how we do this, and you can't do this, you can't do that. And she would say, I wish you would stop. You two would stop. You two would stop fussing. And I'm like, Mommy, she's not my baby sister. She is my child. And I'm explaining to her how the right way to do, you know, whatever I was talking about. And we're not sisters. You know what I mean? So I had to always have that boundary with her. This is my child. If I need your input, I would most definitely ask you. But I need to handle this myself, you know. Then the next one is in friendship. Oh, let me stop you. Please don't share stories about what my ex is up to. I really don't want to hear about it. Now, this one here, for me, I had to use that boundary when it came to the sperm donor's family. I had to use that boundary. When you call me to speak to me, especially his siblings, when you call me to speak to me, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about your mother. I don't want to hear about him. I don't want to hear anything. And that's the boundary I had to set with his mother. And always throwing things in my face. Oh, you know, they got married on your anniversary. And that is a true story. That happened. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? Who does that? You know, you break up with somebody and they get married on you and their anniversary? Who does that? Like, that, to me, that's just, I can't even, I don't even have the words. So, you know, I would have to set that boundary. You know what I mean? Let me stop you right here. I don't want to hear it. I don't care what they do, who they do it with, why they're doing it. They're not doing anything for me, and they are damn sure not doing anything for my child, which they never did. So I don't want to hear it. You know, and then they get all, oh, well, you know, I'm sorry. Oh, well, you know nothing. I don't want to hear it. So if you want to entertain that with somebody else, then you go ahead and do that. But I'm not the one. I don't want to hear it. And the last one was, this was with a spouse. So this is with her spouse. I could use some alone time. So I'm going into the other room to read. This is what I use with my daughter because it's just the two of us. And I used to use this with my mother too. My mother was very, very blunt. She had that Scorpio energy. But my mother would just pick on things. You know what I mean? Like, my mother was always thin, so she didn't understand anybody who was overweight. You know, I am overweight. Even though I've lost 105 plus pounds, I'm still considered overweight. I'm still considered obese. And my daughter is overweight, you know what I mean? And my mother was very thin, and she could never understand that. And so whenever she would make little sly comments or anything, I would always say to her, Mommy, I love you, but I've got to go now. And I would just go to my room or the living room or any place else. You know what I mean? I was not going to entertain that, you know. So I feel like that, you know, I'm just going to separate myself. I've got to go to another room. And you don't owe any explanation because they know. They know what they've said or what they've done. You don't owe anybody any explanations. you know, I've got to go now. And that's it. You know, and I love that. I love this book so much. So if you have the chance, get this book. I'm going to list it down below. But it's really a good book, especially if you have problems, you know, with boundaries, you know, and the 3 steps of boundaries that Michelle lists in her book Melissa lists in her book is identify the need for a boundary. Set the boundary using clear and kind language and hold the boundary. You know, don't set the boundary and tell somebody, you know, I don't want to hear it. But then the next time they say something to you, you don't enforce it. It has to be enforced, and you have to hold that boundary. You know, it has to be reinforced. You have to enforce it, or else people are just going to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And then you're left with, you know, feeling, you know, just exhausted. You know what I mean? Just exhausted. You know, and she says too, this will be the last thing that I say from this book. A boundary is about your behavior, not theirs. It's not really about their behavior. It's about how what they do makes you feel, robs you of your peace and your joy. You know what I mean? It's not about them. You know, it's about you. So you set the boundaries for yourself, not about them. It's not about them. You know, you're setting the boundaries for yourself. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like, you know, like she says, she may not like the idea of her parents questioning her decisions, but she, you know, you can't stop them, right? You know, so they have independent thoughts. You know, we all have free will and independent thoughts. You know what I mean? You can't always stop somebody, but you can say, you know, I'm not going to accept your opinions on my decisions. My decisions are my decisions. You can have whatever thoughts you have, you know, and this kind of beckons to, I don't have the book yet, the Let Them theory from Mel Robbins, but I would imagine this would be like akin to that a little bit, you know, like you can't let, you know, you have to let them have their thoughts, have their whatever they're dealing with, but as it, you know, affects you, you have to set your boundaries. You know what I mean? As it applies to you, set your boundaries. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I thought that was really, really good. I love this book so much. I really do. Okay, so now let's get back to Rupi Kaur's gratitude prompts, writing prompts. And let's see. I might have done a couple of these already, but one that jumped out to me is, what are your favorite ways to show affection to others? And the back of this is cute. It's like a flower. So cute. And my favorite way, my love language is always preparing a meal and cooking. That's one of my love languages. And that is always how I show affection, by cooking or making something that I know somebody loves. But also listening to what people like, you know, and if I can and if I have it, to send them that thing, you know, that I know is their favorite thing or something that they like when I can't be there. So that's kind of my love language. And also just being affectionate. I'm very affectionate. You all know here, I'm very emotional and I'm very affectionate. And so just saying, you know, I love you plenty. You know, I love you so much. And that I see you, you know, that's my love language, because we all want to be seen and we all want to be loved. You know what I mean? And, you know, like my daughter says at the end of her videos, you know, she's proud of you. She loves you. I love that. Even when she's in her downest moment, she offers that up. And I just love that. You know what I mean? And so my love language, first of all, would be food, you know, because who doesn't love food? So food is my first love language, but also affection, you know, or sending somebody something that I know they're just going to get a kick out and they're going to love. You know, that's my my favorite way to show affection. So, and this one was a good one. I had pulled this one the other day and didn't get to it, but it is, what season do you enjoy the most and why? And it also has a little flower on the back. And what season do I enjoy the most and why? It would have to be summer, because I am a summer baby. I was born on August 9th, 1964. And I love summer. I just love summer. You know, I love the ice cream, and I love the water, and I love the beach, and just all the things that you can do in the summer. So that would be my favorite season. Although I do love Thanksgiving and I love Christmas as a holidays, but Thanksgiving is probably like my favorite. So I do love that time of year as well. But my favorite season would have to be summer, because I am a summer baby. I'm a fire child. I'm all full of sunshine and brightness. So I love that. I love that so much. And let's see. This maybe will be our last one. What part of your daily routine are you most grateful for? And you all already know my answer to this. The same. All the cards are the same in the back in this deck. And the part of my daily routine that I'm most grateful for, the one I'm most grateful for, of course, is spending time with my daughter. When, if she has time in the morning before work, we spend some time together doing our exercise, doing our steps, and watching some YouTube. And when she gets home in the evening, we spend time together. Or if she gets off early, I love those times. As we take a little nap. Maybe she'll sit in her chair and I'll sit in my chair. We'll take a little cat nap, watch some YouTube, eat something good. So that's the most, part of the day that I'm grateful for. But what part of your daily routine that you're most grateful for is waking up in the morning, and coming here. I'm so grateful for this routine. This is a new part of my routine. Getting up every morning, the first thing I do is say my prayers. I wake up, I do my prayer. I make up my bed, get that done. Because once my bed is made up, I'm not getting back in it. And it makes everything, even though I have clutter and stuff around me, it just makes everything look nice. It makes everything look so nice. And then, I get dressed. I maybe will film, or first thing in the morning, I have conversation with a couple of my besties, Nancy and I may have a conversation, or my bestie Rhonda, who lives down in Robbins, North Carolina, she and I may talk. You know what I mean? I always talk to Zoe, usually in the morning, especially on the days that she has to go to work early. We have a little chit chat. And then going out and seeing Miss Mam Mam and feeding her, and taking care of her, cleaning her litter box, opening the blinds out in the living room, you know what I mean? Seeing what Miss Mam Mam has gotten into during the night, because she's always into something. And so those things, but my favorite part, of course, is spending the time that I spend with my daughter. But then after that, it's coming here to see you, my friend, to have our daily FaceTimes here. That since January 5th, I am so excited to get up in the morning and come here and visit and chat and see you, and see what's going on, telling you what's going on in my world, and then hopefully you'll leave me some comments down below and tell me what's going on with you today, on this Thursday, Junior. What are you getting into today? Are you working today? If you don't work, what's going on today? What are you doing at home? What are you going to eat today? What's your love language? What is something that, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. What are your favorite ways to show affection to others? That's going to be our question today. I'm going to put it down below. What are your favorite ways to show affection? What's your love language? What's your love language? So we'll see how this video looks when I post it. I'm sure you'll give me some feedback. And let's do some questions and answers. March 5th is going to be our 2-month anniversary here. You know what I mean? So let's have some questions and answers so we can do a little Q&A on March 5th. March 5th is Wednesday. So it's a week, 6 days from today, a week from yesterday. So let's see what we can get into on March 5th. So put some questions down below, or comments or thoughts down below. And I never introduced myself today. My name is Alexis. My friends here all call me Lexi. And I am also Sexi Lexi, and that's sexy with an I, Lexi with an I, and Luscious Lexi. I love all of them. I love all the monikers. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you stayed and we're here. If you're new here and you stayed to this point, you know, put a flower down, a flower emoji down in the comments, so I know that you were here and that you enjoyed this video. So thank you, my friend, my beautiful, beautiful friend, for being here and watching. I love you plenty, as you know, and deuces, you know, till we see each other again, from Yappy and I.